Hello and welcome everybody to League of Europe for Division number 4 for the 8th round of the championship, coming to you from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. Here to take you through this Division 4 race for the evening. It's going to be myself, QVR Packer, and alongside me once again tonight it's going to be REL Nolan. How's it going, Jack? 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 Or I guess his mic maybe not be working, but anyways, we're going to head ourselves into qualifying here tonight, and it does indeed look like it's going to be a wet qualifying session as of right now. First driver out on track is going to be CPI Noah. It looks pretty wet out there. It's going to be looking like inters for the time being, but
am I here?
Yep, you're good now.
Are we good? Right, there we go. What the hell?
Yeah, all right.
These PS5. Note to everyone: do not get a PS5 because the jacks are terrible.
Well, yeah, on that note, we could do a little bit of an intro. So, yeah, Division 4, last time out, Ryan B was unfortunately unable to make the race for the Russian Grand Prix round number 7, and Alt Maverick, his championship rival, was able to take the race victory off of a late safety car in the dying moments of that Grand Prix, was able to snatch it away from Passe, who ended up taking third place in that race, and it was actually was promptly moved up to Division 3 as well, so we're not going to be seeing any more of him in Division 4, unfortunately, because he looked like has had some pretty decent pace. So Ryan B still leads the championship by 4 points only now to Alt Maverick, who took the race victory. Major Falcon tied with Cam K for second in the championship after Major Falcon took second place in the Russian Grand Prix as well. Cam K taking 8 points home himself. MCR has slotted himself into the top 5 as well. 48 points in total for the Alpine driver. Ariel Jordan in the Mercedes on 42. Storm on 33. Poldy Poles on 32. Slumpcon or Connor on 30. Mr. Walter on 28. McDutchface on 22. And Energetics 1 point behind him on 21. Slayer on 19. iRiver Mike on 13 points after taking home 5 points last time out. And Russia, and then Alex on 12, Eduk on 11, Dirt Tim on 7, Marty on 5, and then Bagger Bones and United Bosnia, the last 2 point scorers in the division, both on 3, the 2 Haas drivers. So just looking towards qualifying now, it's Austria. It's a pretty short lap in the dry in Division 4. Would maybe expect 1 minute 4s, low 1 minute 4s, maybe mid low 1 minute 4s. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's normally quite close here. We normally see the smallest margins of the season here at the Red Bull Ring. So it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers are able to pull out.
Yeah, it's going to be very close, and especially with the strategy now. Normally, even in the dry, you can do 2 runs on a set of softs. I think we saw a few people though. Major Falcon, if I remember last time, was really good in the wet. I think we had a wet qualifying previously, and he was very, very fast in that. So there's a few drivers that really quick. Like you said, we've got Maverick, really, really quick in the races. In the wet weather, they seem to struggle a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see, because the train's going to be so important. Overtaking isn't necessarily difficult in Austria, but you have to pick and choose when you do it because you don't want to risk your spot in the train. And Eduk goes top, and if I remember correctly as well, Eduk was also someone that was very, very fast in the rain last time we had a wet qualifying.
Yeah, well, looking back to the last wet race that we had, that was in USA, and Ryan B took the victory, and Ryan B just goes on to provisional pole position as I say that, so the Mercedes driver already looking pretty decent. He's up by a tenth and a half. Ooh, and he spins out of turn 1. We're going to see a lot of drivers doing that, I would imagine. We've already seen quite a few drivers off. I think it was one of the Alpha Tauris that was off at turn 8 a little bit earlier on. But yeah, look into the last race that we had in the USA, the last race that we had in the wet, which was in the United States. I believe KMK took pole position and then promptly jumped the start right at the beginning. So he was able to get himself back into a pretty decent position, but then a late incident caused him to only score 5 points in that race. Unfortunate for him because he did look really fast. So, second place was Giant Bravery, who is no longer in the division. I believe he had some family issues or something, or maybe with work. But yeah, and then third place was Storm UK, who drove a pretty solid race. It was actually quiet for him, made the right decisions on strategy and everything like that. But turning our focus back towards qualifying, there are a few drivers out there on track. I think Mr. Wout is going to be next one to cross the line. He was only 12 thousandths of a second up heading through the middle sector. Let's see what he can find in the final few corners.
Yeah, I have just had a look back as well, and it was France that we had a wet qualifying, and we had the drivers like Eduk, Slump, and Podipos at the top. And it did dry up at the end of that session, and from what I'm hearing, this could be very similar, where it dries up at the end. So we could see people possibly having one good go at the end on the softer mediums to get a good lap in, and that can change the grid so much, because if you invalidate your lap and someone who tends to finish lower down the grid validates it, you can really get a mismatch in pace, which will make for really interesting races, as we see the faster people maybe have to make their way through drivers that they wouldn't normally have to overtake.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What is known in Formula One as the great equalizer. When you saw it in Belgium in real life, George Russell was able to out-qualify a Mercedes and a Williams and was able to put himself P2 on the grid, which eventually ended up to a half-point second place. So it can be quite interesting to see what these drivers can do, especially in a rain-soaked Austrian qualifying. So as of right now, Cam K up on the top, followed by Marty. Marty, known as a really good qualifier here in Division 4, but his races tend to go a little bit south, if you know what I'm saying. Cam K currently on 11.
Oh, I know what you're saying more than anyone, my friend. You're speaking to the right person there.
Yeah, Cam K currently on provisional pole position, a slight lockup into turn 4 on his current lap at 11.751. Marty on an 0.814 for the Ferrari driver. So already looking pretty decent. All Maverick, his teammate in P4. I don't want to say normally, but tends to play second fiddle in qualifying, but definitely has the race pace over his Ferrari teammate. One of the Red Bulls, I think, just crossed the line. That would have been Ben Gallagher. Alfa Romeo just about to cross the line. That was actually Poldipols who spun out of the final corner, and a Ferrari, that's Marty, who crashed out of the final corner. So I don't want to say I jinxed it. I don't want to say I jinxed it, but he's out of qualifying.
The issue is with Marty there. He has a good time there, but if it does dry up like we might suspect, he could find himself dropping all the way to the back potentially, because if you get the gap between the soft times is going to be huge if it goes to the dry. You don't want to be crashing out in a wet to dry session.
Yeah, if we remember back to Passay in France, obviously he's in Division 3 now, but he crashed and qualified just on the pit straight, and he was in a pretty decent position. I think he was around the top 3 on the Inters, and then when it dried out, he ended up starting 17th. He was obviously able to come back and win that race, but still, it shows what happens if you make a mistake in qualifying, especially when it's wet, and possibly has that chance of drying up. Just looking towards the track, I think MCR is just starting a lap as well. One of the Haas just behind him. That's TRT James, who slides to the final corner and loses an end plate. Unfortunately there for him. Ben Gallagher crossing the line, 12 flat, so a decent lap there for Ben. He is known for mainly doing ACC here in LOE, but joined the Formula 1 side of things, and now is currently P4 in his first race here in Division 4, so looking not too bad already, but let's see what he can do later on. Maybe get a little bit more of a judgment for his pace as well.
Yeah, and we talk about Passay going to Division 3. If we go back to that for a second, of course it is a shame in a way, because we could have seen a very late title chance, like if he'd have kept winning with his pace, but it would have been a bit unfair to watch. This now leaves no excuses for Maverick or Ryan. They've both had a did not start each now. They've both missed one race, so they're on a level playing field. Maverick does have the advantage of an extra win, but Ryan B does have more podiums. He's got an extra second place, a third place as well, which Maverick doesn't have. 4 points between them, 7 races in. They've both missed a race each. It's looking very, very good for the title race, and without Passay being in the way for them to take points off each other, they're just against each other now. They only have one person to focus on.
Yeah, it's really going to be down to whoever does the best from race to race. So it's going to be interesting to see who can keep up their performance all season long. Currently, Connor coming across all through the final quarter. He was up by 7/10, so this could be a pretty decent lap. This could put him on the front row, actually. Very close, actually. 800ths of a second keeping him from that front row, and still unable to best Marty, who, as we did see, crossed out of the session. Major Falcon about to cross the line. Let's see what he can do. He improved by 1 position. It's a 12.2 for him. I think someone just improved. That might have been Alt Maverick who just crossed the line onto a 12 flat. He's in quite a bit of traffic as Alt Maverick. He has Mr. Wouter just in front of him, who's at 15th, and United Bosnia just crashed out as well. And that's down at turn 8. Turn 8 can be pretty tricky because you look at it, it's this flat out right-hander, but if you touch the curb at just the wrong angle, you will be out or have a spin, and it can be quite deadly, that curb.
Yeah, the curbs can. I think it's very setup related on this track because you can go for a setup which allows you to ride the curbs a little bit more, but you are obviously, if you're doing that, you're probably giving up some straight line speed, which could cost you in the race. Also, I think you want to avoid the curbs as much as possible because I've seen some very, very sporadic damage that the curb can give the underside of your car, and I've seen just how much it affects. I think someone did a YouTube video on it this week, how much time you actually lose from floor damage, and it's a lot more than you'd think.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Would you tend to agree with me there?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. You know, but yeah, I haven't personally experienced any floor or side pad damage, I don't think, yet this season, but yeah, we'll see what happens here tonight. Ooh, that someone just went round. That was Major Falcon. Oh, at turn 1 in the Alpine.
No, we give credit to Marty, because that lap time has still got him in P2 at the moment, so if he gets a bit lucky, if this stays wet, Marty could still find himself on a podium spot, potentially, starting the race.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, actually, because it does seem to be... I think the rain has actually stopped here in Austria, so one driver's already selected the dry tires in the pit lane. That's going to be Alex, currently P17. But I don't think it's anywhere near dry enough as of yet to go out on the dry tires to try and attempt a lap time, but I'm sure there will be... Yeah, I'm sure there will be quite a few people attempting very, very soon. Only 6 minutes and 10 seconds left here in qualifying, so it's going to be coming right down to the wire here in just a little bit.
I'm seeing spray in Sector 3. I don't know if that's a thing in the game or if they intended that, but I'm also seeing spray in Sector 3.
I'm not seeing any in the first half of the middle sector. I saw a little bit in the second half off the back of Alt Maverick's car as Energetics has retired in the pit lane. That's an interesting decision from him.
It looks like we're going to get possibly a lap where you can come out on the softs.
Yeah, just looking at it, we're currently watching off the back of Ryan B's championship leading car. He's purple in the middle sector. He's up by 2.5 tenths of his current lap. But when he was coming down towards turn 4, there was no spray. But he's coming through the double left-hander in the middle and final sector. There's a lot more spray coming up off the back of his car. It does look quite a lot wetter. I don't know if that's a word. Here in the final sector, Ryan B loses a little bit of time in the final sector. It's only 11.9 for the Mercedes driver, so still has a little bit more to improve on that lap. Cam K trying to follow him through. Cam K still on provisional pole position as of right now. 600th is his gap to Marty, who will not be competing for the rest of the session. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it, but yeah. Just looking for the next person on the lap. There aren't many people out there on track right now. I think CPI Noah J is going to be the next driver out on track. I don't know if he wants to play some zombies later, but you know, he's out playing the F1 game right now.
I don't know. I think CPI will be having to get some team talks, needs to improve their players and pro clubs after the battering that they received from Sandals FC last night. Rumour has it that Sandals FC battered one of the CPI drivers on pro clubs, but that's just in the rumourville. But I think there's a lot of drivers at the moment sitting in the quali box just waiting to see whether they can come out on the softs or not. Everyone's kind of waiting just for that moment for the Delta to say softs are the fastest.
Yeah, it does look the track is improving. Obviously, Ryan B went purple in the middle sector on his previous lap. I think he might just be coming into the pits on this lap. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the better decisions. Cam K decided to go around for another lap, but does improve on his lap time by 600ths of a second, and that could determine a lot of things, especially when it comes down to it, because if it doesn't go dry, that's going to be provisional pole position, you would imagine. So a 111 point.
Praying that it stays on the inters.
Yeah, he really is. He hopes it starts raining even more once it comes down to the end of qualifying. 340 left here. Cam K up almost 0.2 of a second in the first sector. Yeah, that's quite a lot of oversteer for him there. One of the Williams is coming out, and that's going to be, I think that's going to be Slimcon. He's coming out on inters though, so that's an interesting decision.
Yeah, I'm still seeing Sprout. I've just been watching Ben Gallagher drive around. there is spray. When he does come out the pit, I don't think there's enough for slicks. If someone takes the risk and gets past that, fair play to them. But I think they're wasting an opportunity. I think it's going to stay on to the Inters.
Yeah, you can leave the pits with about 1 minute 45, I'd say, left if you're towards the end of the pit garage.
It's going to be crowded, though.
Yeah, it's going to be very crowded, but it's just to get the best track conditions. Just 3 minutes left, so they only have really 1 more minute to decide if they want to come out on inters or if they want to come out on softs. And ideally, you would want to do 2 laps on inters or 2 laps on soft, either way. But Kemke rounding the final corner once again, doesn't improve on his lap time, even though he was up by 0.2 of a second. Coming through the first corner, a lot of drivers coming out of the pits. That's Alex coming out of the pits in the AlphaTauri, as well as Dirt Tim, the 2 AlphaTauris, both out on softs. Interestingly enough, I still think it's the wrong decision because you can just look. There's still rain coming down on the camera lens. There's still spray even heading up through turn 2 and up towards turn 3 as Ben Gallagher goes up to the P2 and onto the front row. So the first driver to displace Marty since his crash, and now only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left here. So Ben is decided to stay out on the inters. It could be the right call, but we don't really know quite yet.
No, it's a big gamble. I personally don't think the slicks will be a good idea, but I'm very famous for not knowing anything about strategy, so it's worth the risk, I guess. I think if you're lower in the grid, if you're determined, it is worth the risk, because why not? What have you got to lose? But I feel like, Suncon's going for the mediums. Oh no, he's gone to the inters. For a moment, it was on the mediums. Yeah, I just feel like you want to get that interlap in, but it's very touch and go. But I'm just seeing a lot of spray from the cars at the moment. We're going to find out any second now.
Yeah, Kemke is going quite a bit slower. It could just be his tires because he has done 5 laps on his tires, but he's been going around 0.6 of a second slower per lap, unless he just keeps making mistakes. That could be it, but still on provisional pole position, still looking pretty decent, but he's still pounding around. He still has this lap and the next lap to improve on his lap time. Ben Gallagher crosses the line, 77 thousandths of a second down on his lap. A lot of drivers coming out of the pits now. Only, I want to say one and a few drivers who have retired, not out on track. I think everybody is out on track besides the 3 drivers who have either crashed out or retired. So I think Mr. DRS enabled. Ooh, that's interesting. So halfway through the soft lap,
Major Falcon is coming out as well.
Is he coming out? Major Falcon is heading out on the track. He doesn't have enough time. There's no way he has enough time to. He might.
It depends how much people get backed up. If I were him, I'd just overtake.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
He doesn't have to stay behind people.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, Dirt Tim is going to be the first driver to cross the line on the soft tires. Alex is going to be the next one, but he was blocked on his lap. There was someone on the apex of turn 4 who I believe was on an out lap. So let's see what we can do. Kemke improves.
The fastest lap on the inters.
Yeah,
on his 6th lap on those inters as well.
Dirt Tim doesn't improve. He was 0.8 of a second down. Let's look for the next person. Jordan pushing, trying to get to the line. I don't think he's going to make it.
Starting his lap.
Major
He's
Falcon.
very slidey as well.
Yeah, let's see what Major Falcon can do into turn 1, down to 3rd gear, a little bit interesting. He uses the DRS though. Kemke improved because he could have improved just because of DRS. That could be, we have to factor that into our astute calculations. Edot goes up to the top of the leaderboard now. It's a 111.343 for the Williams driver. Aston Martin about to cross the line. It's Mr. Walter. He's up on his time, and he goes on to pole position, so it's a 111.226. So he is on the soft. So this is actually looking really good for the soft runners now, who are able to eke out the time. Now the second Aston Martin of Storm. He's on the intermediate tires. Let's see what he's going to be able to do through the final corner. Understeers, misses the apex all over the curb, and oversteers on the exit. Storm crosses the line. He still improves by almost 0.4 of a second, but that's going to be DRS. Noah J has...
Falcon's up by a second.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, there's a Red Bull's cross at the final corner. I think that's McDutchface, but it's going to be Kemke next on the inters. He improves by 0.3 of a second, but it's not enough. 500 slower than Mr. Walter. The 2 AlphaTauris. Now it's going to be Dirt Tim followed by Alex. Dirt Tim improves. Alex crashes out at the final corner. That was a big train of cars. I think All Maverick is going to be one of the first ones. All Maverick goes up to 5th. Major Falcon goes up to pole position on 110.649.
What's Ryan B on?
For the Alpine driver. Now Ryan B across the line. He has to avoid the stricken cars. It's a 110.2 for the championship leader.
These are those decisions that you have to make. You have Maverick stayed out on the inters. Ryan B went for the soft lap, and these are those decisions that you see if you're going for a championship.
Yeah, it's those split it's really, it's those decisions that you have to make.
It's the want to win a title. Like he's made a ballsy move there, and it's really paid off.
Yeah, even at the end though, All Maverick was able to put himself into a pretty decent position on the inters, but now Since those top 3 all started on the softs, they're going to be forced onto those soft tires, or whoever qualified and sent the top 10 on the softs are going to be forced onto those tires. So it's only going to be Ryan B, Major Falcon, and Mr. Wouter who are able to improve. But those drivers are going to be forced once again on the soft tires. Everyone else is going to have a free tire choice. I remember this distinctly from Canada last season in Division 2. Because I was forced onto the softs as well, even though I was slowest out of everybody on the dries. Anyways, Cam K in P4 on the intermediates, followed by Edek, Alt Maverick, SOP, Ben Gallagher in his first race in Division 4, Marty in P8 after retiring very, very early on, Connor, and then Storm round out the 5th row. Noah J and Poldy Poles will be on row 6, United Bosnia and MCR on row 7, Dirt Tim and Jordan. Jordan, unfortunately, not improving, though. He was on the softs, but he must have gotten held up or something. Had to avoid something. Must have had a little bit of a mistake. But yeah, he's going to be P16, I think that was. And then Alex and Energetics, P17 and P18, and McDutchface and TRT James, P19 and P20. So that is going to round out the grid. And it looks like it's going to be full dry here as we head into the Austrian Grand Prix for Division 4.
Yeah, and this is good to see, because we're going to see, obviously, there's more people in Division 4. It's not just Ryan and Maverick. But these two being in a championship fight and being on 2, you'd think different strategies if Maverick goes for the mediums, which I don't see why you wouldn't at this point. You're going to see these two drivers on completely different strategies, both having a chance to beat each other. But there are other people in the race, and I don't think any of them are going to get the win this race.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan saying in the chat, 6 were up by 1 second up, or he was 1 second up in the first sector, but dodgy in sectors 2 and 3, and that's why he lost all of his time, was unable to improve. So, I mean, yeah, I could understand that, because we did see, what's it called, in the first sector and towards the beginning of the second sector, there wasn't any spray. It was all in the back end of the middle sector and towards the final sector. That's where all the spray was. So, yeah, I can understand that from Jordan's point of view. But now looking towards the strategy, top 3 all on the softs: Cam K, Eduk, Alt Maverick, Ben Gallagher all on the mediums, Marty an outlier on the softs in P8, some kind Storm, Noah J on the mediums, Poldy Poles on the softs, United Bosnia, MCR on the mediums, and Dirt Tim, Jordan, Alex softs, Energetics, McDutchface, TRT James on the mediums. So it's pretty even split, actually. I want to say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 12, 8, or 8, 12 softs to mediums. So, yeah, pretty evenly split for this grid.
Yeah, and as far as strategy goes, I'm surprised some people did pick the softs lower down, like Martin, for instance. I'm not sure whether that's to help his teammate out, or I'm not quite sure. But it's going to be interesting with Maverick. Ryan needs to pull away from the rest of the pack. That's his chance at the moment. If he can pull away, Maverick's got some fast drivers ahead of him. He can't just make his way through the field like he normally would. Major Falcon is very quick. Eduk on his day, you can't read him really, but he, on his day he can be very good. Same can be said for Cam K. Maverick, it depends whether he's playing the long-term game or not. If he wants to just sit in the train, or if he wants to make his way through. Whereas Ryan B, I think he has a bit more freedom to decide what he actually wants to do.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan B is really gonna have to get away, because not so much this season, but in the past, this grid can really spread out. So you would, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, actually, the grid spreading out. I would imagine it would be a good thing for Ryan B, Major Falcon, Mr. Wilder if they can all get away, but it's not going to be fantastic for all the medium runners, because those the guys who are pitting onto the mediums around lap 9, 10-ish are going to have a pretty decent advantage over them, but they're going to have to try and keep up the pace later on into their stint. But let's see what happens here in round number 8 of the League of Europe 4, Division number 4. We're here at the Red Bull Ring for this Grand Prix, and here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Long hold, but the lights are out, and away we go. Ryan B able to keep his pole position into turn 1, but Mr. Waters actually got a pretty decent start. Major Falcon on the inside of turn 1. The Aston Martin on the outside gets squeezed out, but there's going to be the soft runners 1, 2, 3, and Cam K. And now Ben Gallagher's actually had a really good start. He's going to be up into P5. He's jumped 2 people. All Maverick has had a terrible start. The 2 Ferraris going side by side. Nothing really changing at the front. Ben Gallagher trying to go up the inside of Cam K into turn 3. A little bit of an incident there. I think one of the Williams is going really wide. Maverick. That's Eduk. We have a few few cars inside of each other.
Maverick's taking advantage of the ghosting. He's drove through him.
Yeah, Alt Maverick really taking advantage of the situation. He's going to be up into P4, 5, 4, I want to say.
He has taken advantage. This guy, man, he's a crafty guy.
Ooh, KMK really getting close to the back of SOP Ben Gallagher. Now Marty squeezing out Eduk, trying to get that position. He's on the softs. He really has to make his way through the field as soon as possible, but he's going to be up into P7 and has actually done pretty decent for himself, especially with all the chaos with turn 3. KMK Ben Gallagher
worked out great for the front 3 soft runners, though, because they've almost got that second already to Maverick. If they can just... I think I'd burn, you know. Like, Maverick's going to have to burn his ERS just to keep into the train, which he kind of is doing.
We have a little bit of an incident.
You do not want to be out of DRS on this track, especially on the mediums behind those soft runners. I know the mediums will catch up in pace soon, but if these 3 soft runners can just drive up and use each other, this could be dangerous on Maverick and people below.
Yeah, I don't know why Alt Maverick isn't using his ERS. He didn't use any going down or going up towards turn 3. He's still kind of within DRS range, but he knocks up the curb at turn 3, has a slight oversteer moment. That's not really going to be happening anymore. Storm making his way past CPI. Noah Jace threw a few drivers into the pit lane. Ariel Jordan pitting onto mediums.
Taking the lead.
Alex and Energetics both pitting onto mediums, as well as Major Falcon has made his way past Ryan B and up into the lead of this race. So Major Falcon deciding that he wants to take hold of this race lead and try and see what he can do with it, and Ryan B just allowing him.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move by Ryan just to let him pass there. I'm not sure too often if you want to keep trading positions. If it's not going to cost you time, then fair enough. But I do think race management, start of the race. I know I'm a hypocrite for saying it, I always do, and then I choose the wrong decision in my own races, but you just want to kind of sit there for a bit and see this out until the second stint, really.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that statement. But yeah, Major Falcon right now still in P1 as DRS is going to be enabled on this lap, and you can see that green bar there on the MFD indicates that DRS is indeed open for these drivers. So Major Falcon's still leading, but he tends to use his ERS quite a bit as Marty and Ben Gallagher going side by side. Marty trying to make a move. He was on the inside of turn 3. The Red Bull of Ben Gallagher trying to keep it around the outside, going down towards turn 4. Cam K is going to box the Red Bull driver in. Marty's down the inside. Ben Gallagher with a little bit of a lockup on that front right. The Ferrari driver is going to have the advantage going through turn 5 and now heading through turn 6. Marty squeezes him to the inside. Ben is still there, though. He's able to keep his car on the inside for turn number 6. Marty's on the outside. Having more momentum. Yeah, Ben's going to have to back out of. He was all over the curb. You really don't want to be accelerating on that curb, but now using his ERS going down towards turn 9. Marty's able to defend the position and keep it a little bit aggressive from these two drivers. Ben trying to keep it around the outside of the penultimate corner. Marty squeezes him. Ben trying to look around the outside. Marty goes a little bit deep into the final corner, but is able to keep the position now. But now Marty's going to be vulnerable because Cam K, who's trying to break DRS, or trying to break slipstream to Marty. Marty has the DRS, though, and that's what is able to save his neck from Ben and from Eduk behind. Storm taking advantage of this because he was out of DRS range, now closing up to these guys. But now it's going to be Eduk versus Ben, and now slipstreaming Marty as well. Eduk trying to look around the outside. Could he possibly get 2 into 1?
Oh, what are you doing, Ben? What is that, man? You can't be doing that. It's short-term thinking. He's just completely sent it from a mile back. Not even he's done a Rosberg, and now Marty's going to get hounded, and they're not helping themselves at all because they're just losing that gap to Cam K. They're going to be just stuck in nowhere, and I don't think Marty's going to be happy about that at all.
Yeah, ooh, that was Noah J into the back of Eduk. Well, Noah J definitely has wing damage. Yeah, front left end plate is completely gone for the McLaren driver. He's going to be holding a lot of drivers up. He just goes off into the gravel and gets out of everybody's way. And did he just... Well, he's an AI. That was interesting. Anyways, back to that battle. Now Marty's on the back of Ben Gallagher. This is going to be an interesting battle considering what just happened on the previous lap. Marty closing in with DRS. Oh, he goes into the back of him. Marty braking way too late. Ben Gallagher may be braking a little bit too early. It doesn't look to be any visible damage. I think I saw a little bit fly off of his front wing, but now Marty up towards turn 3. He's going to be on the inside. Ben Gallagher is going to be on the outside in the Red Bull. Marty on the soft is able to take that position, but now I think Ben is going to have DRS going down towards turn 4. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. Also, Alt Maverick on the back of Mr. Walter. He's able to close up, and on those mediums, he's also broken DRS to Cam K after their battle. And now Ben up the inside of Marty going down towards turn 4, goes a little bit deep. Marty going to look for the switchback, but it's not there. Ben is able to keep that position, and now on to lap number 5. He's going to have to try and push up towards Cam K. It's 2.2 seconds is that gap.
Yeah, they really need to calm it down because the gap has... I think Marty's got damage.
Ooh, yeah.
I think from their previous encounter, Marty has damage because he's really struggling in Sector 2.
Yeah, you could see he's already lost. He lost the position to Ben. Obviously, that was a straight with DRS and wasn't much of a battle.
Pits.
Yeah, Marty heading into the pit lane there. Unfortunate for him. He looked to be in a pretty decent position. Obviously, he was on the softs, but yeah, he seemed to be in a pretty decent position. But now we can look a little bit further up towards the lead. Major Falcon still leads from Ryan B and Mr. Wouter. Those three drivers on the soft tires. But All Maverick is sticking with these guys right now, and he's not really looking out of place.
No, and at this point in the race, the mediums are going to be the better tyre, so he's only going to start to the benefit. I think he's just going to sit behind these three. I don't really see the benefit in going for the overtake. The three aren't going to pull away. If he just waits till they have to go into the pit, and then it's down to him to put the laps in. Yeah,
unless he could possibly make a move. If it's a free move, I'm sure he would take the position. Dirt Tim has a little bit of a spin at turn 3, possibly an incident with United Bosnia, but not entirely sure. McDutchface and MCR are fighting for P9 right now. McDutchface looks up the inside and turns. Oh,
Ryan spun it! He spun it on the exit. He's put the power down too early, and that is disastrous for him. And Maverick is in such a brilliant spot now. 3rd place on the mediums. His championship contenders completely span it. I think he's going to go into the pits. I think he's got away with damage, but his tyres are going to be cooked now. And will this see him going onto the hards, maybe?
Yeah, it's a little bit early for mediums, I would say. It's like a lap, maybe 2 early for the mediums, as All Maverick will not make his way past Mr. Wouter into P2 on track because Mr. Wouter lost DRS in that ordeal.
He's going on the mediums. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, he's on the mediums. Ooh, he's pushing this thing.
It's a lap early. It's 2 laps early, I would say. So
if this works, I'm copying it.
It's going to be interesting, but that undercut can be quite powerful. He didn't have an... Ooh, Ben into the back of Viaduct for P5. Ben just braking a little bit too late there, I'd have to say. Now his Red Bull teammate's going to be coming up around the outside of him. I'm not sure if Ben's a full-time driver.
Careful.
I think he's a reserve. I think Ben is a reserve. Yeah, Ben is a reserve, so he shouldn't really be fighting his teammate too hard. He lets him go.
As well.
Yeah, MCR just trying to make his way through now. He's struggling to get past, but he will be down towards turn 9 because Ben is going to be heading into the pit lane. But, oh, wow, battle up at the front. Alt Maverick fastest lap of the race, a 106.758. That's pretty decent pace. Obviously,
the pace at the front has been really good. We've noticed it. I think this is one of the tracks where there's not too big of a pace difference between the higher divisions and the lower divisions. It's such a short track. You do see a area of pace, but I think what we're seeing here is such a huge jump from the top of Division 4 to the bottom at the moment. Like the front 4, well, the front 3 really. I know Ryan B's now span out. They're just in a league of their own, and Maverick on those mediums is showing amazing pace.
Yeah, Maverick really flying. As we said, 106 point. Was it 7, I want to say? 106.7 for All Maverick, fastest lap of the race. Obviously, he did have a DRS overtake, but still, either way, that's really good pace on those medium tires.
Sliding all over the place. He's going to go in.
Yeah, Major Falcon. No, he was just braking.
No,
he was just braking slipstream, which is an interesting decision. Mr. Walters should come in. Please come in. No, he's not going to be in. All right. That could have been a pretty decent opportunity to make an undercut work for Mr. Walter, but Major Falcon once again breaking the slipstream. Alt Maverick not even caring. That's got to be one of the most disrespectful things I've seen. Someone breaks slipstream and you just don't follow them. So Major Falcon literally defending thin air. Literally, he's defending nothing. Alt Maverick using his ERS down towards turn 3. This is going to be one of the better overtaking opportunities here in tonight's race. Major Falcon moves over to the racing line, but gives Alt Maverick enough room on the outside, so fair play for these two drivers. But now Alt Maverick, you can see how much of an advantage those mediums have compared to the softs. Alt Maverick was able to just power his way past the Alpine driver. Now he's going to be up into the lead of this race. And Major Falcon and Mr. Water haven't even pit yet.
Yeah, and the thing is with Maverick, he drove straight past Ryan when he span out. He knows he has to take no risks now. He can settle. Like Ryan B's not in a good spot to score high points at the moment. Obviously, Maverick of all people know a safety car can change anybody's luck this season. But at the moment, as it stands, he's in complete control and doesn't need to risk anything. And he looks like he's on, current as things stand, on for a very comfortable P1 with his championship contender finishing quite low down the field.
Yeah, I think Alt Maverick would be thinking right now as he almost pulls out DRS. It was just over 9/10 for a little bit. Ooh, Dirt Tim's out. Yeah, he's out.
And is this what the soft runners are waiting for, maybe? Safety car, possibly?
Is that going to be a safety car? That would be the perfect opportunity for them to pit. That would absolutely ruin a few people's races. but it doesn't look to be anything quite yet.
Everyone had just come in for the. Well, obviously, the medium runners would have to come in for the hards.
Yeah, and then they could put again for the mediums and make it, I guess, equal. But
doesn't look like it's coming out. I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a safety car anytime soon. But this is actually kind of helping Major Falcon. If he has the pace to stick with Alt Maverick, which it seems he has just enough with DRS, he can gain back a little bit of ERS. I think Major Falcon should be in on this lap. I don't think he should wait any longer.
I'm surprised they stayed out this long, to be honest.
Major Falcon's in. Mr. Walter's going to lose a little bit of time trying to go around the outside of it, but yeah, Major Falcon is going to be in. Mr. Walter stays out, interestingly enough. This has actually been one of the better showings for Mr. Walter. He had a 4th place in USA in the rain, but that's been his best result so far this season. So already doing pretty decent here in Austria. So let's see what he can do. But Alt Maverick now leading by 2.1 seconds, followed by Mr. Walter, and then Cam K, who's 6.5 seconds behind Alt Maverick. So he's well past everybody else on this, what is going to be a medium-soft strategy. But now looking toward 4th, 5th, and 6th, or the battle for 4th between Storm, Eduk, and McDutchface, as we had an Alfa Romeo spin that's pulling pulls on 10-lap old soft. So just showing how bad those tires really are. Looking at Ryan B as well, he's currently P13, P12 with Connor's penalty. So
Marty's making a move down pole poles. I think made a mistake. He's going to go up the inside of turn 3. They're side by side. He completely shuts the door on him.
Well, we've seen that battle before, maybe with a different driver, but yeah, we've seen Marty make that move before, and now he's going to be up in the P10. So the start to a decent comeback drive, but he is on the soft tires, which is an interesting decision. Obviously, when he got that damage, not enough time to go onto the medium, so I think just making the decision to go onto the softs could be right, because everybody in front of him still has a pit stop to make. So actually, besides Major Falcon, who's actually come out 8.6 seconds, 8.7 seconds in front of him, and now those fresh mediums are going to be absolutely, he's going to be flying on those fresh mediums. But interestingly enough, Mr. Walter's still staying out.
Yeah, I don't know if Walter's waiting for a safety car, or if he just wants high-performing mediums, as Ben gets another penalty.
Yep, I believe that's a second.
I don't think the stewards are going to be a fan of him after this race. But someone else I'd like to point out having a great race, Storm, who has had, after a really good start to the season, got 2 podiums in the first 4 races. His form's dipped a little bit there with just 3 points in the last 3. A good result here could really get him on it. I think he could jump a couple of people, maybe get himself into 5th place, and it won't be too far off the top 3 in the standings if he can get a good result tonight. And seeing how Jordan's race is going at the moment, him and MCR could jump a few spaces. It could be a really good battle for 3rd in this championship.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can make that fight. Obviously, right now, Major Falcon and Cam K are tied on points in 66 as Alex makes his way past Jordan, going down into turn 4, just talking about Jordan in the championship as well. MCR on 48 points, so what is that? I want to say 18 points behind them in 5th place, and then Jordan on 42, and then Storm on 33. So yeah, if he has a strong, 10 races that are left of the season, wow, this season is really flying, I must say. Eduk and Storm going side by side as well into turn 3. But yeah, Storm could have a pretty decent end to his season.
Yeah, and thinking about it, obviously, it depends what you're racing for. Some people do care about the Constructors' Championships, and there are a lot of teams in it at the moment. Obviously, Mercedes are at the top. That's kind of been a one-person team at the moment, but Jordan is in 6th place. It's the only team really, sorry, not one-person team. It's the only team where both drivers are consistently scoring, maybe them and Alpine. At the moment, could we see Wucha staying out to help out his teammate?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, actually, that could be exactly what it is. Eduk picks up a 3-second time penalty, first out of the drivers who are currently in the top 11 out on track. So that's actually unfortunate for him, because he could have had a pretty decent race he could have had a pretty decent race, but that 3-second time penalty will hinder him just a little bit. But yeah, just looking at the constructors right now, obviously, as you mentioned, Mercedes up at the top, 149 points to their name, and then Alpine on 114, quiet but consistent so far this season. Ooh, Storm almost into the back of McDutchface there. And then it's Alt Maverick's team on 108 and a 3rd, and then McLaren tied with Williams on 79, Aston Martin on 61, Alfa Romeo on 53, Red Bull on 41, and then Alpha Tauri on 19 in a deep battle with Haas, who are on 18 points, who scored the most points of the season last time out in Russia with 15. So, yeah, it's most of the battles in this championship are actually shaping out to be pretty nice duels. Ryan B making his way past Connor into turn number 3 and is able to defend that position, as well as Jordan making his way past Alex for P15. And actually, Mr. Waters in now.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not quite sure what he was going for. If he was hoping for a safety car, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of, because he's cost himself so much time.
Ooh,
Ben's going to get disqualified.
Yeah,
Place
Ben
your bets
Gallagher.
in chat whether Ben gets disqualified by the end of this race.
Ben Gallagher with the third 3-second time penalty in 15 laps. So, yeah, a penalty every 5 laps, let's say. As Energetics picks up a time penalty as well. Major Falcon making his way past United Bosnia into P number 7. So a decent move there for Major Falcon, trying to make his way back through the field after making that pit stop. Everybody else in front of him has yet to pit, but just looking towards this lead battle, United Bosnia trying to fight it back with Major Falcon, tries it around the outside, 14-lap old mediums versus 3-lap old mediums, and Major Falcon will comfortably win that battle. But Mr. Water, he's 4.3 seconds behind United Bosnia, who's just within half a second now. So Mr. Water actually isn't really out of the battle with Major Falcon. He's closing in rapidly.
Yeah, it's calming down a little bit, the race. Everyone seems to be settling for a bit. But Major Falcon, with those fresher tyres, he'll be hoping to disrupt that a little bit and make his way through. Obviously, I don't think he has to pit again.
I wouldn't
so he
imagine
can make his way back through. Marty's going to have to pit again, so that's going to leave a big gap in the middle as Slump comes into the pits now. I think a safety car at some point in this race could make for a really chaotic ending, as so many people are at different points in their races. But Maverick at the moment, 8.3 seconds ahead of Kamke, who's on the same strategy as him. The only person he would be looking out for is Major Falcon.
Yeah, Major Falcon, who has showed pretty decent pace at the beginning of his stint, but Mr. Water right now is absolutely flying. We must point that out. I believe 4.2 seconds is now the gap to Major Falcon, so interesting to see what the Aston Martin driver can do. But yeah, as you mentioned, Maverick almost 9 seconds in front of KMK. Alt Maverick is having the time of his life up at the front here. He did win this race in ZOR, we have to point out, as you reminded me in that party that evening, as McDutchface looking for a move on KMK. KMK will just let him go into turn 1. That's an interesting decision, because it looked like McDutchface was going to back off after showing his nose up the inside of the McLaren, but he just kind of let him go. And, ooh, Eduk spun!
Oh! That's such a shame. Eduk's been on for such good results recently as well, and he just seems to not be able to put it full on through in the race. Walter, though, as you were saying, I tell you what's surprising with his pace. He's on for a bigger shout than we thought, because he should have been, with the amount of laps that he stayed out on those softs, he should have been more than 4 seconds behind Falcon. So the fact that the gap's that small, compared to how long he stayed out on the softs, his pace must have been really, really good. He's on freshest medium tyres. He could make a late push for maybe not the win of the race, depending on how Maverick's pace is, because he's going to be on fresh tyres as well. Wucha could make a push for second place in this race.
Yeah, he still has to close out the Major Falcon, which is, it's a decent gap. The Alpine driver does have a little bit of an advantage, but he's starting to come up to traffic. These medium tire runners aren't going to be coming in the pits for 6 laps, maybe? So, yeah, Major Falcon is catching these guys. I mean, the first driver he's going to catch is his teammate, and then he's got another 4-second gap to Storm and the rest of the train behind second place, who is now McDutchface, as Ryan B makes his way past Eduk, who had damage. So Ryan B also now up into P9, so he's not having a decent race either, or he's not having a bad race either after that spin. Currently
if
P9.
You're Walter, you don't want Falcon catching that group. You don't want him getting that DRS. You want to just, at the moment, he seems faster than him just on pure pace. He probably just wants Falcon to be stranded in the middle and see if he can catch up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would be hoping for, especially if you have a pace advantage. Now the gap down to 3.4, around 3.5 seconds really. But yeah, Major Falcon 1.2 now behind his teammate. You'd imagine he's going to have DRS either going up towards turn 3 or at the very earliest going down towards turn 1. MCR, I don't want to say struggling, but he's not able to stick with the rest of the guys on the same strategy. So Major Falcon now within a second going into the penultimate corner and through the final corner. So yeah, Major Falcon is going to make his way past MCR on this lap while going on to lap number 20? Yeah, or no, 19. So, yeah, that hinders Mr. Watcher's progress just a little bit because these medium runners are going to be coming in just a little bit. But he's not doing too bad for himself. Just looking up a little bit further, Storm, KMK, McDutchface, all keeping position for the time being. KMK, I still see him, making a few tiny mistakes. Either it's oversteer on the exit of a corner or hitting the curb on the apex and having to correct it because of that. And that's really costing him some decent pace right now because right now he's sticking behind McDutchface, who seems struggling a little bit with the rear tires. So KMK could be in a decent position here, but he's starting to lose out to some of these other guys just with tiny, tiny mistakes.
Yeah, KMK, he just seems on the brink of losing the tires a little bit now. He's running for 18 laps. I think he's starting to struggle with the grip more than other people, maybe. McDutchface has looked really fast, and I'd expect him to probably stay ahead of KMK. It depends, because KMK's pace on fresh tires he's proven it before, it's incredible, but he's on 15% ERS. He's barely holding onto McDutchface's ERS. He's having to use everything. I think at the moment, his race is probably with Storm.
Yeah, McDutchface showing pretty decent pace. The DRS able to keep KMK within, but he's derating, and that's something we've seen a lot with KMK. He struggles to keep his ERS in the storage.
McDutchface made a mistake then.
Yeah, I think that's the second lap in a row he's made. That's just breaking a little bit late into turn 4 as Ben Gallagher is pulled into the pits and retired. That's interesting decision there for him.
He ruined a few people's races, and then he said au revoir.
I've seen that a few too many times in Division 2 myself. But anyways, McDutchface going a little bit wide through turn 6. KMK trying to follow him through.
I think Eduk's going to be following him in the retirement.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
and there we go. Eduk into the pit lane as well. Unfortunate mistake at turn 1. It was. As we have people pitting actually. McDutchface. These guys are pitting a little bit earlier than I would imagine. What are they going to have to do?
Yeah,
16, 17 laps on the softs? I mean, the softs don't wear that much. It's just that they kind of drop off pace-wise. So if they have, well, they're going to have a fresh set because it's wet and quality, but it's going to be, that's interesting. Oh, KMK's actually getting a wing change.
Oh, if he was that fast with damage, maybe he didn't know he had damage.
Maybe.
Because if you were keeping that pace with damage, I won't get it fixed. I think you're going to lose too much time.
Yeah.
You just want to sit with McDutchface there.
Well, yeah, he's going to lose like 4 or 5 seconds because of that wing change, so...
It is early for the softs, though. That's a lot of laps that you're asking the softs to do.
I don't know. But that gives Alt Maverick a little bit more of a lead. His lead now 11.3 seconds, but I would say he would have to maybe look out for an undercut from those guys who are pitting in the softs, but they're way too far away.
Could you imagine a safety car now?
Oh my gosh, that would be literally perfect for Alt Maverick. I mean, it would keep the script of the season so far. Alt Maverick benefiting off of safety cars.
If he gets one, I swear, he doesn't need one. He should still have it. Without the safety car, he looks like he's comfortably on for the win. If anything, safety car probably helps Ryan B get back into the championship race a bit in this race particular. So
yeah,
maybe for one time, the safety car could benefit someone else other than Maverick, but we'll see.
It would still benefit Maverick, though, because he'd be coming out in front of Major Falcon and Mr. Watcher, who's now gotten the gap to the Alpine in front of him, down just under 2 seconds as he makes a mistake at turn 3. So that's amazing. But yeah, McDutchface, who is pit now onto the softs, he's 9.6 seconds behind Mr. Watcher, and he's going to be flying on those softs. So it's going to be interesting, but Ryan B has come out just in between McDutchface and KMK. KMK having that wing change, and KMK having almost no ERS. So that's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do. But he only has to really make his way past Ryan B, and then he's up into a pretty decent position with no penalties. MCR pit on the lap after those two guys, so he's in a decent position as well. But now let's look up to the front of the field. All Maverick not coming into the pits, understandable, considering he has such a big lead. Storm staying out as well. Major Falcon, who started on the softs, is now on the mediums, is only 0.7 of a second back off the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I think if I'm Falcon, Falcon's going to stay. I think Storm, I'd go into the pit.
What's happened there? United Bosnia spun off a turn 8 curb, and we have a VSC.
Oh, this got... Oh. Please turn into say, I'm here for the carnage, please.
You know, virtual safety cars in this game tend to stay out pretty long.
They do, and Polypoles... Oh, he thought about it.
Nah, Energetics is going to go in. He's going to
gone in, Noah's gone in.
Yeah. So
this could be a great play for these guys. They're almost getting a free pit stop here.
Ooh, a lot of people just...
Oh!
I think it was Polypoles only, though. Well, all Maverick is in either way. Polypoles is the only driver to pick up a drive-through penalty.
No, Jay's just hit the wall on the exit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Has he got damage? That's why. He just hit the wall on the exit of the pit.
That's, well, interesting. We also had an Aston Martin who spun. Is that Storm? Or is that just him coming into the pit lane? I can't tell. He might have spun because he's behind Wouter.
What?
I think it's Storm spun. I've done that way too many times in practice. Try to come into the pit lane and hitting the inside curb at turn 9. I've done that way too many times today. Anyway, Storm into the pit lane, now puts on a set of soft tires. All Maverick into the pit lane, puts on a set of soft tires. And he's in front of McDutchface and Cam K, which is what he really needed. 3.8 seconds is the gap for him. But now his battle is really going to be forward because he has Mr. Wouter and Major Falcon 4.3 seconds up the road from him. Well, the Aston Martin driver is. And Mr. Wouter was closing down Major Falcon. That gap is now 1.9 seconds. So Mr. Wouter and Major Falcon and Alt Maverick are all going to have a pretty decent battle for the race win here as we have 12 and a half laps to go.
Yeah, Major Falcon, he just has to push now because obviously Maverick, he's going to be fast. By the time Maverick catches Falcon, you'd expect the softs to still be the quicker tyre because Falcon's mediums aren't going to be the best at this time. At the end of the race, they're going to be pretty even on pace with the tyres. If Maverick can just get through with no worries, which he's catching them so fast.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Wouter is catching as well.
Laps.
He's catching Wouter fast, and Wouter is catching Falcon
Maverick
fast.
Needs to be careful, though. He can't risk a penalty here.
Yeah. Ooh, Cam K fastest lap of the race, 6.8 seconds behind McDutchface after getting that wing change. Ryan B dropping down the order a little bit now just because his tires, well, are 17 laps old. He has MCR, the next driver behind him, on 2-lap-old softs, and then Storm on completely fresh soft tires as Jordan makes his way into the points after Polypoles, I think, has had a little bit of a spin. That might have been energetics, though. I'm not entirely sure. Slumcon has been banging in fast laps, you know, in P10. I'm not entirely sure how he keeps on doing it unless he just keeps on pitting for softs.
I think he's pitted like 4 times onto the softs.
I mean, let's take a quick look. Stops. Only on 2 stops. So everybody from 9th down is on 2 stops. Besides Polypoles, who just makes his 2nd, I believe.
I think I just like to commend a few drivers like Jordan, who's sticking it. Like he had a terrible start to the race, and he's found himself into the points just by sticking in the race. Like you don't know what's going to happen. The people ahead of him have penalties. He could find himself in 10th place by the end of the race. But this is going to show people like Maverick how their race control is. He doesn't need to push. His championship
he has all the time in the world.
Exactly, and he's contenders, so like he's not in for a good result. Ryan B isn't at the moment. He's on worn tyres. I don't know if he's going to have to pit again. I think he'll be okay. Maybe. We pitted early.
Yeah.
Maverick doesn't need to risk it. He doesn't need to push and get a penalty or like push too hard with Wouter Falcon and get damage. Like I know getting the win is important. It's a good chunk of points. But at the moment, a 2nd or 3rd place won't be terrible compared to where Ryan finishes.
Yeah, because as of right now, what Ryan B is finishing 6th, he's probably going to finish 7th or 8th by the end of this race.
He might have to pit again as well.
Yeah, he might have to pit again. So he's going to be close on tire wear as well. Just coming through the final corner now, crossing the line onto lap number 27. So that means 10 laps to go. So Ryan B is going to have to do 28 laps on those tires. That's going to be a little bit of a stretch for the Mercedes driver. But if anybody can do it, I think it would be him. So yeah, but I don't think he's really going to. He's probably going to be behind Storm, maybe Marty if Marty.
Up ahead. It's a lap car, never mind.
Yeah, maybe Marty. He might fall behind Marty when it comes down to it. But right now, Ryan B is scoring, 8 points? Championship lead, or the championship gap is 4 points. So if Alt Maverick even finishes 4th, which he won't, or shouldn't, he'll be tied for the championship lead. So as of right now, he's taking the championship lead. So this is overall a good day for Alt Maverick, considering where Ryan started compared to where Alt Maverick started. So yeah, he's having a good day. He needs to calm down. He needs to make sure he gets these moves done and just puts himself into the leader race. No ridiculous moves, no mistakes, and he just has to keep it clean. He has to keep it clinical, no penalties, as I was a victim to many times. Just has to keep it on track. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, P1 is 90% on the cards. But just for instance, like, I would take second place rather than risk it and get damaged. But at the moment, from what I know of Maverick, he sees the win, and that's all he's going to have in his mind now.
Yeah, he's going to be going all out trying to get that win. He's down to 36% ERS as they head up to turn 3.
As fast as I thought.
Yeah, maybe the soft tire is dying out just a little bit, or Major Falcon is pushing, because he's still getting DRS off of Poldy Pulls. He's just pit. Well, he's on 10-lap old medium tires. I think he served his drive-through. That's why he was coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, he's not a slow driver, Poldy Pulls, either. He's quick. He's just, I don't think things have quite worked out for him this race.
Or really not in general. Well, I say not in general for his season, but he is on, what, 32 points, 8th in the championship. He's had 2 5th places and a 4th in the 3 races that he's finished. Yeah, not a bad season at all for the Alfa Romeo full-time driver. But yeah, just looking at it now, Major Falcon is leading on 16-lap old medium tires, about to be 17 laps old. Mr. Wilder, half a second behind him on 13-lap old mediums, and then Alt Maverick just following them in behind. Still doesn't have DRS from Mr. Walter on 4-lap old on soft tires. So just looking at, Ryan B's in. Ryan B's pitting. So he's just completely giving up on it.
Make it.
Yeah, he's completely giving up on it.
Imagine a safety car.
You know, that could be quite the situation, I'd have to admit. But yeah, Ryan B's in.
Yeah, this race has not gone the way Ryan would have hoped.
Yeah, after that spin, it was going to be really downhill, especially right on the edge of the strategy window as well. So absolutely heartbreaking there for Ryan B. I'm sure he would have preferred to spin at least 1 or 2 laps later. But
P9
yeah.
though. It looks like he's still on for P9. I don't think he should drop any more than that, bar a mistake.
Ooh, Jordan just had a spin
so
as well.
he's still getting some points. This is just now down to Maverick how much he wants to risk for a larger point gap.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Especially.
I think Lewis is derated, did I just say? No, he's not.
But yeah, you know, Poldy Pulls is showing actually pretty decent pace just being in front of these guys, and is actually helping Major Falcon not get overtaken by Wouter and Maverick.
Here we go.
Poldy Pulls is directly influencing who wins this race right now. Alt Maverick looking at Mr. Wouter, not quite close enough. Purple first sector for the Ferrari driver. Mr. Wouter with a little bit of a snap. We've been seeing that over the last few laps, just struggling or starting to struggle with those medium tires. 14 laps old for Wouter and 18 laps old for Falcon. So these guys are going to be starting to struggle for pace, but also as Alt Maverick, because 5 lap old, these soft tires now, you may not think it's that much, but for these soft tires, the life from these tires goes out very, very quickly. But after that, they kind of just drop off a cliff. They're not terrible. They're manageable, but the pace does indeed start to drop. And yeah, Alt Maverick right now just trying to follow these guys through. He doesn't even really need to make a move, because Ryan B is now down at P9. He's 15 seconds behind Marty, his teammate.
You do want to make that gap as large as possible. I'm just seeing him. He's so close to picking up another warning. I don't know how many he's on. I don't want to check. I'd like the suspense, but I just don't. I feel like he's been in this situation twice before, and he's made the wrong decision. Just got excited. He's been bailed out by a safety car. I'm not sure if that can happen every time. If he can just keep calm, make a decision here at the right time. At this moment, he's top of the championship. He doesn't need to worry about that. He can go into the next race knowing, at this current moment where you're at, top of the championship. Is he going for it?
Yeah, Walter trying it around the outside of Major Falcon. Tried it with the ERS. Ryan B sets fastest lap of the race, so he's going to get 1 extra point for that. So right now, I believe he'd be scoring 5 points. Alt Maverick almost into the back of the Aston Martin driver, but Walter unable to make the move on Major Falcon. And you know, Poldy Pulls is really screwing over Mr. Walter and Alt Maverick. A little bit of a slide from all these drivers. Alt Maverick's really close to the back of the Aston Martin in front of him, going into the penultimate corner, avoiding that apex curve at the penultimate corner. Just just trying to avoid it, just trying to not make any mistakes. Now, Major Falcon is derating, though, because he was trying to defend from Wapter on the previous lap going down towards turn 4. But, you know, Polypoles... Yeah, Polypoles is really selling Wouter and Alt Maverick's bread, if I'm going to be completely honest. But now, Major Falcon, he has DRS, but he has no ERS. Now, Mr. Wouter going to look to the inside, or the outside for turn 2. The inside for turn 3. Let's see what the Aston Martin driver can do. He's on the inside. He's going to squeeze out Major Falcon. Now, Alt Maverick is going to be able to take advantage of this because Major Falcon has no ERS. He's down below 5%. Alt Maverick looking to the inside. Major Falcon go to the inside, so Alt Maverick will... default to the outside. He breaks a little bit later than the Alpine drive. He tries around the outside. Major Falcon tries to squeeze him, and that's going to be Alt Maverick, but that's going to be moved on for the Ferrari driver, for the championship leader, as we and now Major Falcon is going to be down into P3. You'd imagine Major Falcon would kind of just drop off the pace here, but let's see what he can do in these last few laps. We're on lap 32 of 36 here, going on to lap 33 for the next one. No safety cars from here on in once we cross the line, and now Alt Maverick currently P2, Mr. Watcher P1, Polypoles in 14th, but he's still in front of these guys and leading them through with 2-lap fresher tires than the current race leader, as Mr. Watcher just set personal PB.
We've seen lap 19 to 20. Oh, he's picked up a penalty.
Ooh, and that's going to be it for Walter, and that is going to be it for Walter. Ooh, that's really close, Alt Maverick. He's going to have DRS because of Polypoles, but Alt Maverick is going to be into the race lead now. He gets a pretty decent exit. Mr. Walter is going to have no challenge for Alt Maverick. He's not even using his ERS. He knows his race is done, and he knows he's going to be finished in third. It's still a good result for Mr. Walter overall. A pretty decent result for him. Where did Polypoles go? Oh, he dropped behind the leaders now.
I won't give up about Falcon now. Falcon can get second.
Yeah, Major Falcon really needs to try and keep up with these guys as much as possible. But now Alt Maverick's into the lead of the race, and that's going to be heartbreaking to know for Ryan B, because he's been catching Marty ever so slightly, but he's really not going to do anything meaningful. Mr. Wilder P2, Major Falcon P3, and then McDutchface P4. He's actually had a pretty solid race. She's really quiet, as well as Camke, both on that alternate strategy. MCR P6, decent race as well. Storm, who's looking for a possible 6th place finish to round off a pretty decent weekend for Division 4 for the Aston Martin team. P2 and P7 as of right now, and could move themselves up in the constructor standings. Currently, they are 6th and 18 points behind Williams. So this would actually be a really good day for them, considering Williams is only scoring, 3 points with Slimcon as of right now. So it's going to be an overall pretty decent day for the Aston Martin crew.
Yeah, great day for them. Great day for Alpine. Alpine, obviously, the contenders at the moment with Mercedes. Ferrari are a weird one because they should be contending, obviously, with Maverick scoring so many points. Marty, if he can just start to pick up some, they're not out of it. At the moment, as long as Walter can stay in the DRS of Maverick, I think he should just be able to hold Falcon, but the gap is slowly dropping. Falcon's really struggling on these tyres. It's going to come down to a matter of tenths as to whether Falcon steals that 2nd place with a penalty or not.
Yeah, just rounding the final corner are these guys. They're coming up to lap Jordan, actually, so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for them. Alt Maverick leading the way on to lap number 35, the penultimate lap of this Austrian Grand Prix here for Division 4 at the Red Bull Ring. Now, all he has to do is, he could really pick up a penalty because he has the gap over Major Falcon. But that would be an interesting way to spice things up towards the end of this race. But Mr. Wouter, I think he could just stay... I think he can just stay within DRS. MCR and Storm, that's going to be the most interesting battle out on track right now. Storm has 40...
Falcon almost went. Yeah. He's dropped himself out of the 3-second gap now as well.
Yeah, that's going to be, his chance at 2nd place over now. But Storm and MCR are still battling for the 6th position. Storm goes a little bit deep, but so does MCR. MCR has no ERS. He's going to be getting that DRS down towards turn 4, but Storm, he should use his ERS, and yeah, he's going to use all of it. Going down towards turn 4, he's going to keep P6 for the time being. Polypoles picks up another 3-second time penalty, but yeah, we could just really look at this race as, Noah J out at turn 1. No safety car though.
Almost lost it as well.
Yeah. Some kind of had a few in this race as well. I believe I saw him off at turn 7 a little bit earlier on. But anyways, Alt Maverick has almost broken DRS to Mr. Walter going on to the final lap. And let's just ride on board with the Ferrari driver. He's going to be championship leader. He's going to be taking, his 3rd race victory of the season? No, 4th race victory of the season so far. In, 8 races? He's won half the races. He's going to be taking the championship lead over Ryan B. So... yeah, almost a perfect day for Alt Maverick. A little bit disappointing in qualifying, but he was able to, get it back on lap 1.
Yeah, he drove a really good race. He had a really bad start, so he dropped down to 8th place. And then by the exit of turn 3, he was back up to 4th. Cheated by driving through a ghosted car.
We ignore that. He's American, okay? He likes to cheat.
No, but overall, it was a great recovery because he did have a poor start. He dropped to 8th, found himself back up into 4th by the end of the lap, and then he kept his composure, which I've been impressed with a lot. Last couple of races, he's made a few rash decisions, maybe got a bit excited. He waited for the right time to overtake, and it's really paid off as he wins his 4th race of the season and really puts the pressure on Ryan B.
Yeah. It looked like Ryan B was going to be the favorite, well, after Singapore for this championship. He worked out a pretty decent lead and then edged it out a little bit more after France in the second place. Oh, what happened to Storm?
Storm disconnected on the last 2 corners.
Oh my gosh.
No, MCR got him on the line, I think. He was ghosted in the last 2 corners, and MCR got him on the line.
How does that make any... What? Wow, that's interesting.
What? I'm a migrating host. Jordan left. Storm's car ghosted on like the last corner, and MCR passed him, literally crossing the line.
Well, okay then. That was an interesting end. Oh, he ran out of fuel.
No way! His car ghosted as well. No way! How much did MCR beat him by? It can't have been...
Wow. Well, McDutchface picks up driver of the day from the in-game fans for his 4th place result, I believe. So, ooh. Yeah, Alt Maverick, 4th win of the season. Mr. Woucher picks up his first podium of the season, and then Major Falcon solidifying another decent result here. 2nd place last week, 3rd place in this week. Get a good shot at 2nd place, but unfortunately a few mistakes ended that hope for him. But yeah, Alt Maverick takes, I don't want to say a commanding championship lead because we've seen bigger in this season alone from Ryan B, but takes the championship lead nonetheless for America, for Ferrari, and for himself. He takes the victory over Mr. Wouter in 2nd place, and then Major Falcon, that rounds out the podium. McDutchface, Cam K, MCR, Storm. The gap was 2 and a little bit. 2/10 and a little bit between MCR and Storm. P8 goes to Marty, so double points for Ferrari. Ryan B will pick up 9th place and will take home fastest lap as well. Slumpcon P10, Energetic P11, and then Polty Poles will round out the points. Ariel Jordan will not score any points in 13th. I think he was the last driver to finish, I want to say, or is Noah J. And then the drivers who did not finish, United Bosnia, Eduk, Ben Gallagher, Alex, Dirtim, and James did not finish the Grand Prix. So yeah, that's going to be it. And I think we should try and get these guys in here. Oh my gosh. Can we start Division 2 early, please? That would be very nice.
No.
I have somewhere to be.
Well, what do you mean you have somewhere to be? You don't have friends.
I am going to homecoming tonight, good sir.
Homecoming?
Yeah.
What even is homecoming? It's the most American thing.
It's basically, it's a school dance. That's all you need to know. Oh my goodness, Jensen,
Wait,
what are you doing?
Have you got a date to homecoming, or are you going on your own? Be honest.
No, I'm just going with my friends. Yeah, I know. I'm a loner. It's interesting. What did Jensen just do in Division 1, by the way? He just dived Connor and Montana, went up to 2nd place, and then dropped to 7th, and Alba took 2nd from, 5th. Are you kidding me?
Wait, what?
Yeah, D1 is going absolutely mad right now, and Daniel's winning for the 2nd week in a row on track.
How's my boy Nathan doing?
Nathan is not racing.
Mate, right, can we just... Right, I know, we have our fake beef or whatever. Dylan has fucking... I've just swore. Oh,
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
He's smashed Division. Oh my gosh, you're a 3rd. What?
Wait.
It's a Haas 3-4.
How's Rocco got 5th?
Rocco is such a...
How does he do this?
How does... Yeah, we're going to talk about... Yeah, Dylan. How does Dylan do it every week? He was literally slower than me. He was slower than me at the beginning of the week.
I can't... Well, how does Rocco do this every time?
All right, we need to get interviews started because we're just being lazy right now. All right, add Alt Maverick. Add. I need Major Falcon. I can look real quick. Passe is 5th currently in D3. Final lap. Major Falcon, and then Mr. By the way, they cannot hear you. I'm inviting people. Okay, they can hear you again. Ooh, wow. Brendan almost got Tinkin on the line as well.
That's a result for the boys.
Hello. Yes, we can. I'm not entirely sure if we can hear you on stream though. Yes, we can. I'm not entirely sure. Let's make sure. Oh, what's it called? Mr. Walter, you need to put your voice on share in the party settings. Is Falcon here yet? Or I guess we could just start with Alt Maverick. So, Maverick. 1 in ZOR on Monday, 1 in LOE on Saturday, and takes the championship lead and wins your 4th race of the season. So, what is there that needs to be said about this one?
I guess that I like Austria. I don't know. It's another interesting race that, just like Russia last week, I didn't think I was gonna win. The rain in qualifying was actually a mistake on my part. I meant to go on the softs, but I clicked everything too fast and it threw me back on the inters. So, but I came off better than if I didn't go out anyway. So I guess I can't complain. But there was the stretch of 3 or 4 laps where there was 3 crashes on track, and I was like, just please let there not be a safety car. And then there was the virtual safety car that was, I think, a lap after my pit window, so it kind of just worked out. But yeah, the battle at the end, it kind of dragged on too much. Because I actually had a fuel save a little bit, which I think kind of hurt everything in the end. But, it's 25 points, it's the championship lead, so I guess nothing that happened in the race that I considered to not go my way, I guess it just doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah. Jack, you want to keep it going?
What did you? I just want to hear your opinions on your amazing overtake after turn 3, lap 1. How did you manage to put your car through the ghost? Just out of...
I prefer not to comment.
Unbelievable. No, to be fair, mate, yeah, it was good. You had let's be honest, a terrible start. You dropped down quite a bit, and then by turn 3, you were 4th again.
Yeah, I dropped behind Marty, and I kind of knew he wasn't going to fight me as much, which kind of helps a little bit. But I think that Red Bull just made contact with whoever was on the outside, and then the game just ghosted him. But by the time I realized what was happening, I was halfway through him. So I was like, well, I guess I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever done this. So what's the worst that can happen?
Unbelievable.
But yeah.
Well, I have breaking news. I'm not trying to start beef or anything. I'm just saying I messaged Ryan B calling him a bottle job, and all he said was, I'm not lucky enough to get safety cars to bail me out. I'm just saying.
It was the VSC that came in within 5 seconds.
I'm just saying.
The VSC did not save me, okay? Because it ended as soon as I entered the pits. So it helped me save a bit of fuel, but that's it. It didn't help me with positions. So.
Oh, he's listening as well. Oh, he's just heard me grass him up. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Caught in 4K, Jack. Caught in 4K. But yeah, anything else you want to ask our race winner?
I just want to ask you now, it's been a while now. We assumed Ryan had the slight gap. Obviously, he was missing Russia, but he had the control. This is your first time in a few races now that you've been top again. Do you feel more comfortable chasing the leader, or are you more comfortable being first and knowing that you kind of have control over maybe being able to get away with finishing second every now and again?
I mean, you said it right there. Just not having to stress about having the good finishes, and finishing on the podium is good enough. But it takes a bit of pressure off of it. And even like when I was back in Tier 2 in ZOR and winning that championship 2 seasons ago, I led most of it, and it felt nice not having to win every race to claw back in the points. But that was so long ago. But yeah, it takes the pressure off a little bit.
That's good. It's good to hear. It's good to see. It's going to be interesting. Are we even halfway through? We're not even halfway through the season. I think that's the halfway point. Well, 8 or 9 because we've got 17 races, and there's barely any points between you both. It's a 2-horse race. We know that. Best man win, really. Right, who's next, Maverick? Who's next?
Well, I think that ends that one. Thank you, Maverick. But now we can move on. To Mr. Wouter. First podium of the season, so I'm sure you're very happy with that. And overall, it was a pretty decent race for you. I believe you're one of the 3 drivers who were able to make the softs work in qualifying, and then were just able to keep it from there. And you did gain a little bit, obviously, because of Ryan B. Spin. But how did you think of your race overall, and then the battle at the end with Major Falcon and Maverick?
Yeah, I think it was good to be back on the podium. I raced in D3 once, where I racked up a few podiums, but this was my first time in this division, which has been a challenge, to be honest. But yeah, in the qualifying I did a very bad lap, but still, I was one of the 3 that made it work on softs. So I was able to start third, and from there we just had the pace to pull away at the start. And then Ryan B spun, of course, which is unfortunate for him, but better for me. And then at one point Major Falcon pitted in lap 11, which was, in my opinion, way too early. I saw somewhere in the chat someone saying that I should pit because I'm losing so much time. But in the end I knew I had better tires than him, so I was able to get his position. Then I was still hoping to get the win, but then in a matter of one straight I both got a 3-second penalty and Maverick passed me, so I put it out of my head and just tried to pull the 3-second gap to Major Falcon, which worked out. So I'm happy with the result.
Yeah, I think the argument was with the pits, because you stayed out so long and you lost that gap to Falcon, which you seemed quicker than anyway. That little comfort blanket that you could have got could have potentially won you the race, because obviously Maverick would have caught Falcon, but you'd have been like 4 seconds ahead at that point. So I think like if you'd have pitted earlier, obviously it's if, but at the time it's hard to know which decision to make. But we thought maybe with your pace, because you seem so fast, there's a chance that you'd have been able to challenge for the win, because Maverick would have caught you last lap, possibly second to last lap.
Yeah, that might have happened. I didn't know how much time Maverick gained by the virtual safety car. I thought a bit, but apparently the virtual safety car ended when he started pitting, or when he just moved into the pit. Yeah, maybe it could have worked out, but nothing we can do about it now. But yeah, still P2 after, like, I was usually somewhere between P6 and P2, P10. Then I think suddenly finishing P2 is a big achievement on its own. So I can sleep well tonight.
It's still a good result either way. Like, I'd be very happy with a podium, and it seems that things, hopefully now, if you can get into a groove, you've showed good pace. Things just haven't gone too well in the last few weeks. Hopefully this can start to build some consistency, and Aston Martin have a good chance at constructors still.
Yeah, I think Storm is also on it. Some games he can easily get a podium. And yeah, I had a bit of a non-attendance streak in the last 5 weeks. There's a lot of social events happening. So hopefully, I'm sure I will attend the next 3 weeks, and I can indeed build a bit of a rhythm that might put me up somewhere in the top 5. Hopefully it works.
Hey, I still think third place is open for anyone below Maverick and Ryan. It's 66 points. Obviously, we still need to add the points on now, but the gap isn't that big. I think there's a few people that can get third.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's just a matter of getting the results consistently.
Well, congratulations on this one, and we'll see you at Hungary.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for your time, by the way, again, for 1.5 hours of commentating during the season. It's not anyone's job, so thanks. Many thanks.
Hey, Maverick deserves to thank you. I've bailed on him like 3 times this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting situation we have here. But anyways, yes. Thank you both of you for joining us in the commentators booth for the interview. I don't think Major Falcon is going to be joining us. I don't think he's joined us in any of the races so far this season. So, congrats to both of you, especially you, Mr. Watcher, on your first podium, and Maverick on your 4th win of the season. And good luck for the next race. But yeah, I think that's been it from Division 4. So, anything else you have left to comment on, Jack, before we end it?
No, I just think overall Division 4 has been really entertaining, and it's great to see most weeks we've got a full grid. Everyone, for the most part, the racing standards are good. We've seen a few people, I don't want to name names, that have been quite questionable the last few weeks, but overall, D4 is just a really good race to commentate on.
Yeah, indeed. It's I don't want to say better than last season, because last season was pretty decent for Division 4, but yeah, it's shaping up to be a pretty decent championship battle. Another 1v1 possibly for this for the Season 6 championship as well. But yeah, I think we can end it on that note. That's been it from myself, that's been it from Jack, and that's been it for Division 4. See you guys.